So this is the part 3 of Think Like a Monk. What the topic is the mind and the subtopic is don't try this at home. Monks go to extremes to achieve detachment. I don't expect you to do this, but after we look at how it works, we'll talk about more practical, even fun, ways to experiment with detachment and the benefits it yields. Experiments in discomfort, like fasting, silence, meditation in heart or in heat or cold, and others we have discussed. Detach you from the body because they make you realize how much of the discomfort is in the mind. Another way we monks test our detachment was to travel with nothing. No food, no shelter, no money. We had to fend for ourselves and recognize that we need very little to get by. It also made us more grateful for all that we had. All of these exercises helped us push ourselves to the limit, mentally and physically, to build resolve, resilience, grit, to strengthen our ability to control our mind. The first time I did a full day fast, consuming no food or water, I spent the first few hours feeling desperately hungry. We weren't supposed to take a nap while we were fasting. The point was to have the experience, not to avoid it with sleep. I had to use my intellect to soothe myself. I had to become absorbed in something higher to let go of these hungry thoughts. As the day went, I realized that because my body did not need to think about what to eat, to prepare for a meal, to consume, or to digest, I actually had more of different sort of energy. When we fast, we detach from the body and all the time we spend attending to its demands. When we remove eating, we can let go of hunger and satiety, pain and pleasure, failure and success. We redirect our energy and attention to focus on mind. In future fasts, I got in the habit of using the energy to study, research, make notes, or prepare a talk. Fasting became a creative time, free of distractions. At the end of the fast, I felt physically tired, but mentally strong. In functioning without something my body relied on, I had broken a limit that existed in my mind. I gained flexibility and adaptability and resourcefulness. That experience was fasting blend into the rest of my life. Fasting is a physical challenge driven by intellect. Being silent for a long period of time brought up completely different issues. Who was I when I detached from other people? I am on day 9 of 30 days of silence and I think I'm losing my mind. Before this, I have definitely never kept my mouth shut for an entire day, much less a whole month. Now, along with a group of monks who joined the ashram at the same time as I did, I have gone for more than a week without speaking, watching, hearing, or communicating in any other way. I am a talker. I love sharing and hearing others' experiences. In the silence, my mind is going wild. In quick succession, I think of rap lyrics to the songs I haven't heard in a while, everything I have to read and learn from mock school, how everyone else is possibly enduring this, a random conversation I once had with an ex-girlfriend, what I would be doing at this very moment if I had taken a job instead of becoming a monk, counting down the days till I can speak again. This is all in 10 minutes. In my mouth, in my month-long silent retreat, there is no outlet. I have no option but to go inwards. I must face my monkey mind and start conversations. I ask myself questions. Why do I need to talk? Why can't I just be in my thoughts? What can I find in silence that I can't get anywhere else? When my mind wanders, I return to my questioning. I find initially that the silence and the stillness helps me discover new details in familiar routine. More revelations follow, not a words but an experiences. I find myself attuned to every part of my body. I feel the air against my skin, my breath traveling through my body, my mind empties. Over time, other questions emerge. I want to be a part of a conversation. Why? I want to connect with other people. Why? I need friendship to feel whole. Why do I feel that friendship as an immediate need rather than a long term comfort? My ego uses friendship to feel secure in my choices. And then I see the work I need to do on my ego. Often in my emptiness, I repeat to myself, make your mind your friend. And I imagine that my mind and I are at the networking event. It's loud, it's hectic, there's a lot going on, but the only way to build a friendship is to start a conversation. And that's what I do. Fasting and other austerities that monks practice remind us that we can bear greater hardships than we thought possible, that we can overcome the demands of the senses with the self-control and the resolve. Regardless of their faith, most monks are celebrate, eat a highly restricted diet, and live apart from mainstream society. Then there are extremists J monk Shri Hansratna Vijayji Maharaj Sahab fasted for 423 days without with few breaks. Sukush Hin Butsu. Sukush Hin Butsu is the name of a Japanese style of a self mummification practice where monks would eat a diet of pine needles, tree barks, and resins, then give up food and water while they continue to chant mantras until eventually their body petrified. You don't have to take woe or eat pine needles to explore your limits. Often, all that holds us back from achieving the impossible is the belief that it is impossible. From 1850, when the first accurately measured circular running track were made, until 1954, the record of running a mile never dropped below 4 minutes. Nobody had done it in less, and it was thought that nobody could. Then in 1954, British Olympian Roger Bannister set out to do it. He ran the mile in 3 minutes 59 seconds, 59.4 seconds, breaking the 4 minute barrier for the first time. Ever since, runners have been breaking subsequent records at a much quicker pace. Once people realized there was no limit, they pushed it further and further. There, there are everyday people. There are everyday people as well who use orchard trees to up their game. People consistently report that experimenting with extreme helps them be more thoughtful and positive in their everyday life. Let's explore how you can use auto states to detach. Now, the new topic is how to detach. All of the ways we have already talked about training the mind involves detaching, becoming an objective observer of a competing voices in your head, having new conversations with the conscious mind to reframe thoughts, finding compassion for yourself, staying in the moment instead of reactively doing what we want. We proactively evaluate the situation and do what is right. Think of auto states as a detachment bootcamp. Disconnect from the idea that limit you. Open your mind to the new possibilities, and like a soldier training for the battle, you will find that your intellect gets stronger. You'll find that you are capable of more than you have ever imagined. There are infinite atrocities or challenges you can try. Give up TV or your phone, sweets or alcohol, taking on physical challenge, abstaining from gossip, complaining and comparing. The austerity that was most powerful for me was meditating in cold or heat. The only way to escape the cold was to go inward. I had to learn to redirect my attention from the physical discomfort by talking to my mind. I still use this technique at the gym. If I am doing crunches, I bring awareness to part of my body that doesn't hurt. I don't recommend this for a psychological pain. I'm not a stoic. But the skill of removing yourself from physical pain allows you to tolerate it in a positive sense. When you know that the pain has value, you are getting stronger at the gym. You're serving food to the children on a very hot day. You are able to push yourself mentally and physically. You can focus on what's important. You can focus. You can focus on what's important instead of being distracted by your discomfort. We start with awareness. Spot the attachment. When do you experience it? When are you most vulnerable to it? Let's say you want to detach from technology. Do you use it out of boredom, laziness, fear of missing out, loneliness? If you want to stop drinking, look at the frequency and time of the day. Are you using it to unwind, to connect, to reward yourself, or to check out? Once you have diagnosed the attachment, the next step is to stop and rethink. What do you want to add? And what do you want to subtract? How much time do you want to dedicate to technology? And in what form? Are there certain apps you want to eliminate entirely, or do you want to limit the time that you spend using your phone? For drinking, you might look at whether you think you need to quit entirely, whether you want to experiment with a dry mouth to see what you learn about yourself, or whether you want to limit yourself. The third step is to swap in a new behavior. There are two general approaches that I recommend. Choose the one that best suits your personality. The monk way is to go all in. If immersion and extreme work best for you, you might commit to eliminate social media. If immersion and extreme work best for you, you might commit to eliminating social media entirely for a week or a month. Or you might, as I mentioned above, go to the wagon for a month. If you work better in slow, gradual iterations, make a small change and build on it. In the case of technology, you can limit the amount of time you allow yourself to be online, or perhaps limit but don't fully eliminate certain apps. Decide how you want to spend your newfound time. If you want to minimize your YouTube time, look for another way to find relaxation or decompression. Meditation is my first go to. If you are cutting back on social media, do you want to spend the time interacting with friends in the real life rather than online? Perhaps as a project, you can select which of those Instagram photos deserve to go in an album or on your walls. Use your found time to fulfill the same need or to accomplish the project and to do's that always linger on back burner. At first, when we make change, the mind may rebel. Look for ways to ease the transition. If I want to eat less sugar, reading studies linking sugar to cancer strengthens my intellect and motivates me to persist. At the same time, my wife sets up what I call the worst snack drawer of all time. There's nothing bad in it, no junk food. My sons don't have access to snacks. I also look for natural habits that curb my desire. I notice that after I go to gym, I eat less sugar. For me, going to gym wakes up the cherry tree. Realizing that Realizing that I turn to sugar to increase my energy and improve my mood, I look for other, healthier activities that have similar effects. Once the initial pangs of desire abate, you'll begin to feel the benefits of detachment. You'll find new clarity and perspective. You'll feel more control over the monkey mind, but you will not stop trying to control that which you can't control. The mind will quiet, and you will make decisions without fear, ego, envy, or greed. You will feel confident and free from illusions. Though life remains imperfect, you accept it as it is and see a clear path ahead. Topic mind maintenance. Detachment doesn't mean we completely ignore our bodies and our minds. The body is a vessel, it contains us, so it's important. We have to take care of it, feed it, keep it healthy, but the vessel is just a carrier. What it carries is real value. And the mind, as we have talked about, is an important counterbalance to the intellect's control and restraint. Without his chariot, horse, and reins, the charity options are limited. She is slow, or he can't travel far on his own, or she can't pick up a weary traveler and help them on their journey. We do not want to eliminate the voices in our head or the body that carries them. We just want to steer them in the right direction. But this means that the charity's work is never done. We wake up with the morning breath, smelly, tired. Every morning we accept the need to brush our teeth and shower. We don't judge ourselves for needing to wash up. When we get hungry, we don't say to ourselves, oh my god, I am the worst. When I am hungry again, bring the same patience and understanding when you are low on motivation, unfocused and anxious or adult. And charity is weak. Waking him up is like taking a shower and feeding yourself an everyday practice. Matthew Richard, the world's happiest man, told me that we should cultivate inner peace as a skill. If you ruminate on sadness and negativity, he explained, it will reinforce a sense of sadness and negativity. But if you cultivate compassion, joy, and inner freedom, then you build up a kind of resilience and you will face life with confidence. When I asked him how we cultivate those skills, he said, we train our brains. In the end, it is your mind that translates the outside world into happiness or misery. The good news is that the more practice you have at tuning in to your mind, the less effort it takes. Like a muscle, the good news is that more practice you have at tuning in to your mind, the less effort it takes. Like a muscle that you exercise regularly, the skill grows stronger and more reliable. If we work every day to uh, cleanse our thoughts gently, redirecting the ones that don't serve us, then our mind are pure and calm, ready for growth. We deal with new challenges before they multiply and become unmanageable. As the Bhagavad Gita advises, cultivate buddhi or your discriminating intelligence to discern the true knowledge and practice wisdom so that you will know the difference between truth and untruth, reality and illusion, your false self and true self, and divine qualities and demonic qualities, knowledge and ignorance, and how true knowledge illuminates and liberates while ignorance wields your wisdom and holds you in bondage. Our ego is often what holds us back from true knowledge, steering the mind towards impulse and impression. Next, we will examine how it influences the mind and how we can bring it back to the size. Thank you.